The sea off Japan has been a lifeline for generations of fishermen. Among the most important and dramatic methods of fishing here is purse seine. Fishing a technique that uses massive circular nets to surround entire schools of fish before drawing them in. Today it stands as one of the pillars of Japan's marine harvest, providing a steady supply of herring, sardines, mackerel, and tuna. This is the story of how fleets of vessels working in harmony combine centuries-old tradition with modern machinery to deliver hundreds of thousands of tons of seafood each year. A purse seine net is designed like a giant wall of mesh that can stretch more than 1 kilometer in length and plunge over 200 meters into the sea. When deployed, it forms a curtain that encloses the fish. And once the bottom rope is pulled tight, the school is trapped in a vast underwater bag. What was once an exhausting task for dozens of men hauling ropes by hand is now powered by hydraulic winches, cranes, and automated systems, making it possible to capture massive schools in a matter of hours. Before the vessels even set out, preparation begins on shore. Each net is checked meticulously. The mesh float sinkers and steel rings that allow the net to close are inspected to ensure there are no tears or weaknesses. A single fault could mean losing an entire catch. Crews also inspect the ropes, sometimes stretching over a mile, and secure the pulleys and winches that will pull them. For many crews, this ritual is as much about safety as it is about efficiency. As the main fishing vessel departs port, it rarely travels alone. Purse seine fishing is a team effort requiring an entire fleet. Usually one large carrier that holds the main net, smaller search vessels, equipped with sonar and fish finders and transport boats that will ferry the catch back to shore. These fleets can include 4, 5, or even 6 vessels working together, each with its own role in the operation. While on the open sea, smaller scouting boats fan out across the horizon, scanning the water for signs of life. They look for birds, diving for shimmering patches on the surface, or for signals on advanced sonar that reveal dense schools moving below. When a school is detected, the information is relayed back to the main vessel. Communication is constant. Captains and crews coordinate by radio, deciding on the best angle to approach, how wide to spread the net, and when to deploy the light boats, if the fishing takes place at night. At this moment, precision matters. A poorly timed maneuver can scatter the fish and waste hours of work. Once in position, the net boat begins to circle the school. At full speed, the vessel drags the immense wall of netting around the fish, gradually closing the loop until the two ends meet. The bottom rope, threaded through heavy steel rings, is then drawn tight by winches, creating a sealed bag beneath the water. Trapped inside are thousands, sometimes millions of fish. The operation requires skill, coordination, and timing. Every member of the crew knows their place, whether controlling the winch guiding the net or monitoring sonar to ensure the school remains inside the enclosure. With the fish now encircled, the most demanding stage begins hauling in the net. Hydraulic power blocks lift the heavy mesh from the sea meter by meter. As the net rises, the shimmering bodies of herring or sardines glisten beneath the surface, compressed into a tighter and tighter space. The atmosphere on deck shifts into overdrive. Crew members pull ropes, adjust cranes, and keep the tension even across the net to avoid breakage. A single tear could allow thousands of fish to escape. Once the school has been concentrated, smaller transport boats move alongside the main vessel. Large suction pumps or scoop nets are lowered into the dense mass, drawing the fish from the water and transferring them into refrigerated holds. Depending on the species, each haul can yield between 20 and 200 tons of fish, filling the ship's storage tanks in just a few hours of work. For species like herring, the oily flesh must be chilled immediately to maintain quality. Modern vessels are equipped with brine freezing systems that can lock in freshness within minutes, ensuring that the catch maintains its market value all the way to port. A seine fleet operates almost like a floating factory. Search vessels scout ahead with sonar and bird radar, detecting the subtle signals of schools that may be several miles away. Light boats deployed at night use bright lamps to attract fish closer to the surface, taking advantage of their natural tendency to gather under illumination. The main carrier vessel holds the net and coordinates the encirclement, while transport boats focus on rapidly offloading the captured fish. Every role is essential. Without the cooperation of all 5 or 6 vessels, the entire operation would fail. These fleets vary in size, but their nets are always enormous. A standard net may stretch 1,600 to 1,800 meters in length, with a vertical drop of more than 200 meters deep, enough to wall off a section of the ocean. Like an invisible fence, the ropes that cinch the bottom of the net together can weigh tons, and only high-powered winches are capable of drawing them closed. Technology has made this work safer and faster than in the past, but it is still grueling labor, requiring every fisherman on board to know his position and react quickly to commands. The scale of the harvest is staggering. Japan's large and medium purse seine fleets account for nearly a quarter of the nation's marine catch each year, contributing more than 800,000 tons of fish annually. The value of these landings exceeds 100 billion yen, making purse seining one of the most important engines of Japan's fishing economy. Much of this catch is composed of small pelagic fish like sardines, mackerel, and herring species that form massive migratory schools along the Japanese coast. But abundance is never guaranteed. These species are highly sensitive to ocean conditions, shifting currents, and water temperatures. History shows dramatic fluctuations, periods of booming sardine stocks, followed by near collapse, and cycles of herring returning to the waters off Hokkaido after decades of absence. For fishermen, this unpredictability makes each season both a gamble and a hope. Pelagic fish, like herring, sardines, and mackerel, live in the mid and upper layers of the ocean, constantly on the move in search of plankton-rich feeding grounds. They migrate northward during spring and summer, then return southward to spawn during autumn and winter. These seasonal patterns shape the rhythm of the purse seine industry. Crews must follow the shifting currents and water temperatures, often traveling hundreds of kilometers from port to intercept the great schools at just the right moment. The sheer abundance of pelagic fish comes with a paradox. They are among the most productive species in the ocean, capable of reproducing rapidly. Yet their populations rise and fall in dramatic cycles that can span decades. Sardine stocks, for instance, surged to more than 1 million tons in the 1980s, then collapsed to near zero, only to begin a slow recovery in recent years. Herring in Hokkaido have shown similar fluctuations, decades of absence, followed by sudden resurgence. For fleets and processors, these shifts mean constant adaptation, balancing investment and capacity with the unpredictability of nature. To manage these boom and bust cycles, Japan operates under a strict total allowable catch system with quotas set for each stock group. Since 2020, these quotas have been tied to the principle of maximum sustainable yield, a target designed to prevent overfishing, while ensuring that enough fish remain in the sea to replenish the stocks. This means that even when schools are abundant, fleets must stop once their quota is reached. Compliance is enforced with satellite monitoring, landing inspections, and vessel tracking, ensuring that the long-term health of these fisheries is prioritized over short-term gain. Despite these rules, purse seining remains one of the most efficient fishing methods ever developed. A single operation can secure hundreds of tons in just a few hours with remarkably low bycatch compared to trawling or gill nets. The design of the net, an immense wall of mesh that encircles only the targeted school, means that non-target species have a much higher chance of escaping. This efficiency makes purse seining particularly suited to supplying large volumes of fish for human consumption, fish meal, and industrial uses while still allowing for responsible management. The human element, however, is just as crucial as the technology. For new deckhands, it can take an entire year to learn the choreography of the fleet, how to cast, cinch, haul, and transfer fish with precision. Each role, whether operating the winches scouting with sonar or guiding transport pumps, depends on trust and timing. On the open sea, mistakes are costly. A tangled net, a misjudged maneuver, or a lapse in coordination can cost not just the catch, but also the safety of the crew. This is why many crews are multi-generational, passing down skills, instincts, and traditions alongside the adoption of modern equipment. Once the nets have delivered their immense load to the transport vessels, the race against time begins. Herring and other pelagic fish are highly perishable, so maintaining quality is critical. Onboard modern refrigeration systems come into play immediately. The most common method is brine freezing, where the fish are submerged in chilled saltwater tanks that quickly draw down their core temperature. For high-value products like herring destined for sashimi or premium fillets, individual quick freezing, known as IQF, ensures that every fish is frozen separately, preserving texture and preventing clumping. When the ships return to port, the catch is unloaded directly into conveyor systems that carry the fish into massive processing facilities. Here, the journey diverges depending on the market destination. Some herring are cleaned, gutted, and packed fresh on ice for domestic sale. Others are filleted, smoked, or marinated for the export trade, particularly to Europe and North America, where demand for pickled and smoked herring remains strong. A large portion is also processed into fish meal and fish oil commodities that fuel aquaculture and livestock industries worldwide. Inside the factory, high-speed graders sort the fish by size and quality. Precision cutting machines then prepare fillets with remarkable consistency, slicing hundreds of pounds per hour. Meanwhile, automated canning lines sterilize, seal herring in sauces, oils, or brines, producing shelf-stable products ready for shipping across the globe. Quality control technicians monitor every step, checking temperature, packaging seals, and appearance to meet both domestic food safety standards and the stringent requirements of export markets. The economic impact of this industry is enormous. Large and medium purse, seine fleets contribute up to 30% of Japan's total marine catch, generating hundreds of billions of yen in revenue. Ports that host these fleets thrive on the steady flow of landings, with entire communities depending on the cycle of fishing, processing, and trade. For coastal towns, the arrival of a purse-seine fleet means not only fresh fish at the market, but also seasonal jobs, bustling docks, and a reinforcement of cultural traditions tied to the sea. Yet the industry is not without challenges. Climate change is altering ocean temperatures, and currents shifting the migratory routes of herring and sardines. Where once schools could be found reliably in one area, they may now appear hundreds of kilometers away, forcing fleets to adapt with new routes and longer voyages. Rising fuel costs and international competition add further pressure. Still, with disciplined resource management, cutting-edge technology, and centuries of seafaring expertise, Japan's purse-seine industry continues to deliver one of the most efficient and sustainable models of large-scale fishing in the modern world. As the herring and other pelagic catches make their way from nets to markets, the story comes full circle. What began with fleets scanning the horizon using sonar and light boats to find shimmering schools beneath the waves now ends with fresh fillets on dinner tables, canned goods in supermarkets, and fish oil powering industries worldwide. But beyond the economics and logistics, there is a deeper layer to this journey. In Japanese coastal culture, herring has long held a place of honor. For centuries, these silverfish signaled the arrival of spring, drawing communities together to celebrate seasonal abundance. Herring roe, known as kazunoko, remains a delicacy at New Year celebrations, symbolizing prosperity and fertility. Even as industrial fishing fleets and robotic equipment redefine the industry, the cultural ties between herring and Japanese families remain strong, weaving tradition into the fabric of modern seafood production. This balance of tradition and technology is what sets Japan's purse-seine operations apart. The fishermen who cast kilometer-long nets at sea are heirs to generations of maritime knowledge. Yet they work side by side with GPS systems, sonar arrays, hydraulic winches, and automated processing lines. Their efforts demonstrate that innovation does not erase heritage, rather it strengthens it, allowing an ancient practice to endure in a rapidly changing world. Looking ahead, sustainability remains the guiding principle. Seasonal closures, strict quotas, under the total allowable catch system, and investments in research ensure that herring, sardines, and mackerel stocks are not only protected, but allowed to flourish for future generations. The modern purse-seine fleet operates with precision, minimizing bycatch, preserving marine ecosystems, and ensuring the seas around Japan remain a renewable source of food and livelihood. So when you see herring neatly packaged at a market, taste kazunoko at a family gathering, or enjoy a dish of smoked or pickled fillets overseas, remember the immense journey behind it. From sonar-guided fleets braving the open sea to processing plants humming with efficiency, And from fishermen passing down knowledge to new generations, each step reflects the resilience and dedication of Japan's fishing industry. In the end, the story of herring purse seine fishing is more than a tale of nets and machines. It is a living connection between people and ocean heritage and progress, ensuring that one of the sea's most abundant gifts continues to nourish and inspire across the globe.